Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today, following a successful members poll, we're going to have a look at what a little niche YouTube channel like mine actually makes following monetization. Needless to say, of course, since I monetized last year, I've moved to an 18-bed mansion and I drive a Bentley. Before we get started, it is nearly a full 12 months since I swapped from my smartphone to a dumb phone, resulting in me purchasing a Sony Ericsson C902, which is an excellent dumb phone. Because of this, I will be doing a live stream on Monday the 10th of March at 8 PM UK time in order to share my experiences, good, bad and indifferent, about swapping from a smartphone. In addition, I'll be doing a full review of the Sony Ericsson C902, but I'll be doing it using a camcorder and a laptop from 2008 to see what it was like making YouTube videos back in the day. So make sure you subscribed and you've hit that notification bell so you don't miss that. Right, on with the video. So handheld computing is now in its 5th year. It monetized in January 2024, so I've got a full 12 months of stats to actually look at and analyze for this video, which is very useful. In order to monetize, you need to have 1,000 subscribers, which it took me about 18 months to reach, but you also need 4,000 hours of views in the previous 12 months, and that's the tricky one, because that means you have to average 333 hours of views every single month. I finally reached those requirements last January following the release of a video on removing or restoring rubber coatings on computers. It's a little bit outside the remit of what the channel usually does, and maybe that says a lot about what I ought to be doing, but that video performed amazingly, racking up over 19,000 views. So to get an idea of what my channel usually does, let's have a look at some of the analytics. First of all, let's take a look at my general video performance. So I usually end up with views in the region between 450 and about 700. I have videos that do much better, and I also have videos that do a little worse. On average, if you take them all, I get about 600 views per video. In periods of regular release, that 600 views per video equates to about 300 hours a month, a little bit shy of the 333 required to maintain my monetization. So how much will I make from all these views? Well, a quick Google suggests you should get about 1.8 cents per view, which equates to 18 cents per 1,000 views. However, you'll notice there's no caveat here for how long the video is, and actually this requires that you watch the entire video and all the embedded adverts, so it's a very unrealistic number. In the last 365 days, I have had 91.5 thousand views, just shy of actually, and 5.1 thousand hours of viewing. This has resulted in $256.15, which is, if we work it out, that is 0.27 cents per view, and 1,000 hours results in approximately $50. So that's certainly not to be sneered at. And in fact, YouTube is the highest paying of all the social media networks. So ad revenue isn't the only source of income for the channel. Once you've hit that 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 views, you can then join the YouTube partnership program, allowing you to also have memberships and super likes and super thanks and things like that. Over the last 12 months, I've had an average of about 11 members, each paying $1 a month. Some, like Mike and Rich's Random Retro Reviews and Von Rummelsdorf, have been members for a long time, or since the channel actually offered membership. Some only joined for a month or two, but either way, their contribution is greatly appreciated, and not just because of the money. Being a member says, I like what you're doing and I want to see more, and that's some really good encouragement for myself to keep doing what I do. In addition, I can directly message the members via polls or messages on the community tab and ask what they want to see and get feedback from them. Members are also more likely to comment on my videos, giving me more feedback feedback on what I'm doing and helping me work out what the general audience is likely to want to see. So what do I make in membership? Well, as I say, my membership is set at $1 a month, although you can set it wherever you like and you can have multiple bands. Of that $1, I get about 70 cents because YouTube keeps 30% plus any tax revenue that is required. So I get an average of $7.70 per month from membership. This isn't to be sneered at and is very handy. Since I spend much more on the channel than I receive in any of my revenues from YouTube, you can rest assured that money is going directly back into the channel. Over the year in total, I received $86.97. So a huge thank you to all the members. Zalt Dekaney, Sarah the Strangers, Andrew Heyer, DigitalDecay.x or Mike, Jason Morley, Kitty Unlisted, Yeet Yee or Yeet Y, however that's pronounced, Tim Alston, David Schnell, Von Rummelsdorf and Richard's Random Retro Reviews. Thank you so much for your continued support. So the third income stream for the channel is the super thanks. So a super thanks is a little button at the bottom, and if you've massively enjoyed the video and would like to donate to the channel, you simply click it, add a donation, it'll highlight your comment, and then obviously I will respond accordingly. So I've had 4 of those in the last 12 months, one of which I can't quite tie down to where it came from, but I believe, like 2 others, it was from Andrew Heyer, who is one of the channel members, so a massive thank you to you. The final one was from ukscience.org to say thanks for helping him format his compact flashcard for his Scion. Like with membership, with a super thanks, YouTube takes 30% and the rest of it I receive minus any taxes that I'm due. And a super thanks, like being a member, isn't just a way of saying I enjoyed your video. This is a massive thank you to say I really enjoyed this video and I'd like to see more. Because of that, it is a huge encouragement for me to continue making content. Like anything else in life, there are times when this seems like an awful lot of effort and why am I bothering? And then I remember I love the sound of my own voice. No, just kidding. I love sharing my joy of PDAs with everyone, so that's why I keep doing this. And of course that is why I started the channel in the first place, but I have in addition received a total of $15.50 in super likes. So thank you very much for that. And again, don't worry, that money all goes back into the channel. So come on, how much do you actually make in total then? Because as you've all probably realised, there are some costs to doing this. So obviously I've given you all the figures as to what comes into the channel, but we've not discussed what goes out. And before we discuss that, I think it's worth understanding what it takes to make a YouTube video. First of all, I have to come up with an idea. Now those are abundant, I have literally far too many to ever get through, so that's not an issue. Secondly, I need to script the video, and I usually do that on this. I'm currently using it as my prompt. This is my Janada 728, which goes most places with me. The scripting itself doesn't usually take that long, although I'll revisit it once or twice just to make sure it reads okay. But in between the scripting, I also do all the research to try and make sure that what I'm telling you, I haven't just made up. And for most of the time, what I tell you is actually true. However, occasionally something slips through, like the time that I said that the Scion 2 LX has a battery indicator, which it doesn't. But I said it in my video because at the time I thought it did. All in all, I'd say I spend at least an hour on the scripting, and I think you know where I'm gonna go with this. So the third thing I need to do is actually film the video. There's usually a little bit of background setup, i.e. putting the lights up, choosing what colour I'm going to have, you know, that kind of thing. There's also often a little bit of setup for devices. I might need to have synchronized it, for example, or transfer software onto it, or format a compact flashcard for it, or something like this, installed an operating system. The filming itself on a 15-minute video is usually about an hour, something like that, with a couple of pickups and all the rest. And the setup is usually something similar. So I'd suggest that for most videos, I spend at least 90 minutes during filming and setup. Finally comes the most consuming part, and that is editing. Editing a video is in itself fairly time consuming, making those jump cuts and deciding what I'm keeping in and what I'm taking out. I usually do an initial edit and then I'll watch it through and decide where I'm putting in any fancy pictures, like this one. Or if I want something to swipe on and off the screen, like this. and then I'll put all those in and rewatch it again. So if I'm making a 15-minute video, at least 30 minutes of it is me watching it back, making notes on what I'm going to do next. Realistically, to edit a basic video takes about 3 hours, and perhaps I'm slow, but that's usually what it takes me, but it can be a lot more. Some videos are quite complex, and I have spent more than 6 hours editing some videos. But we'll call it 3 for simplicity. So overall, we're looking at 5 or 5.5 hours to make a 15-minute video. So that's the time involved in making a video. The next thing that's involved is any expenditure. So the type of videos I make usually require that I own whatever the device is that I'm making a video on. And these, of course, cost money. Now, don't get me wrong, when I came in to start doing this, I already had a fair collection of palm tops, UMPCs, etc, etc. And as time's gone on, I have bought more and more devices. Thankfully, Superwife doesn't mind too much. In addition to the devices, I often need replacement batteries, whether that's lithium ion replacements like in the CT50, which we did the resell on a couple of weeks ago, whether it's an organizer and it needs some button cells, or whether it's a palm top that uses a proprietary lithium battery like this one. So batteries are an ongoing cost for me. Anything that uses standard AAAs or AA's, I have plenty of those in rechargeable forms, and so they're not really an issue. In addition, I need memory cards for many of these devices. Obviously, I now have quite a bundle of compact flash cards, MMCs, SDs, mini SDs, and micro SDs, as well as a couple of miniature cards for the slightly odd Velo 1 and Velo 500. Either way, this costs money. Me being me, I keep a spreadsheet of everything. And while I've not included the lights and my new camera and some of the setup behind me, I do spend about £300 a year on my hobby, which, to be honest, is a fairly cheap hobby. It's certainly cheaper than a gym membership. So if we take the ad revenue, super likes and members over the last 12 months, I have received from Google $358.27. Converting that to pounds, I have received £278.08 from Google over the last 12 months. Dividing that by the 22 episodes I make, that means I receive £12.64 per episode. So ignoring any costs, at about 5 hours of video at the short end, that puts me on £2.53 an hour, which would be great, except as we've already discussed, I actually put £300 a year in. So I think we can all agree it's a good job I have a real job. I was starting to get worried that I would lose my ad revenue, although rest assured if I did, I would still be making videos, although perhaps not as frequently as I currently do, because my average views don't quite meet the threshold. Thankfully though, at the beginning of this year, I released the video on the EM500, and for some reason, the YouTube algorithm went absolutely bonkers, and I got over 12,000 views, which equates to 845 hours of views. Add that to the 213 hours of views that I got from the Windows 98 video release, and actually I'm pretty safe for the next 12 months at least. I hope you found this video interesting and informative. If you have, a like and a subscribe would be excellent. Perhaps you run a small YouTube channel, or perhaps you were thinking of setting one up and this has swayed you one way or the other. I'd love to hear from you, so pop a comment below. Or if you've got any other comments about monetization on perhaps a different platform, pop a comment below. I'd be interested to know your thoughts. Huge thanks to all the viewers, commenters, subscribers, and of course a massive thanks goes to all the members who directly support the channel. As always, my name's Hugh, this is Handheld Computing. Thanks for watching.